One of I don't know who was. I think it was Frank or someone else that said this is summer intensive, right? But then they didn't expect this to be this intense.
Well, it's a lot of information. It's like,
So well, I mean, its name said so. If you went to whatchamacallit, the summer camp, you're there for 3 weeks or a week, like intensively there. But I guess because it's online, they thought maybe I don't know.
well, it's a lot of information, and everything feels dense because they're like 10-minute videos, but they usually take a lesson or three to explain and master, and so we're expecting a lot. And I guess we don't expect the students to master it after watching a video. I mean, they're really, it takes time, but like I said, you can always go back and watch videos again. So
Right. I also wanted to tell everybody that this is a collection of 30-something years of your life of experience as a pianist and teacher, 30-something years of my life, and combined 70-something years. So expecting all the students just watch a video
yeah,
and then get it, or
not
be
right
able
away.
to able to do it, it's impossible, but it takes time.
But a lot of it you can do it. Like
Yeah.
last week we were all talking about backwards numbers. That is something you can apply right away. I think we all get the concept of it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Well, let's get started. It's 2:01.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all.
Yay.
Welcome back.
Let's get started. I mean, last week we talked all about the methods at the piano, right? There was a lot. I mean, we already warned you beforehand how much stuff is gonna be there, and I know some of you mentioned that just you're almost distracted because you wanted to try out new things in your practice room, and feel like actually in a short term doesn't feel like making progress, but in the long term, yes. So we're gonna go around and share one main takeaway from the last week, just so that by listening someone else's digest note, that we can also review it together that way. Before we get started, I think we're gonna start it with Amy, just because this is the big day for Amy.
Look, Amy got a new piano. Amy, was it delivered yesterday?
Or
Today?
no, this morning.
This morning?
This morning.
Can you show us your new piano?
Oh!
I don't have the lid open very far, but yeah, it's beautiful. It's
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous.
it's a really big deal. I mean, not how many days you're gonna have the first day of the piano delivered. In the afternoon, you get to share with other people. So this is one of the rare, maybe one of the first, So
Yeah, it's lovely.
right. So let's start with Amy, and then you can call someone else afterwards. Yep.
Okay. I think the biggest thing for me was the thing on mistakes and really having a habit of making mistakes was a massive reminder, because I tend to keep going and think, oh, I'll come back to that, and of course you don't always come back to it. So the next time you go, oh, I was going to come back to that. So yeah, that's been something I've been forcing myself to stop and really work on.
Yeah. I think that is true, right? About the mistakes become habit, and it's hard to detect on your own unless you consciously think about it.
Well, habits are formed over a period of time, and if you have a habit of playing something and moving on, which I think we all do to a certain degree, yes, it's very possible that we forget and we don't come back to what we should be working on. So being a little bit more deliberate, I think, is really helpful. I think most things that we're teaching in this program is really about being deliberate about certain thing. And I think it's natural for pianists, even professionals included, that we tend to wander a lot when we practice rather than really being focused, because it's just kind of fun to explore and go around. But we know from experience that the best results come about when you are deliberate about achieving a certain goal.
Yeah.
And so you end up having more enjoyment in piano playing because you get to your destinations quicker and with cleaner playing.
Yeah. Okay, Amy, choose someone else.
Rich.
Afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I can maybe just ditto Amy and elaborate a little bit. I've struggled with the same thing of, making mistakes that I've played well in the past, and I just assume that I'll play it okay the next time. So what I have applied is going straight to those sections that I know I have a problem with, really, really slowing down, and then practicing the perfect five in those difficult sections. And I think if I do that through 2 or 3 or 4 practice sessions, then I definitely see an impact.
I think we talked about consistency and persistency. So it takes a time. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. Choose someone else.
Don.
Hello, everyone. I actually wrote down 4 things because there were just so many, but I wanted to make sure I had something fresh. So I'll say something new. I think that one thing that surprised me was the practicing with your eyes closed, because I am very guilty of like always looking at my hands and thinking I need to. And I was really surprised that while I still probably need to look at my hands, more frequently than you, Jiyun, I found that there are many sections where I actually don't even need to look down. And that was just both surprising, but made me feel a little more free and can put a little more expression into the music. So that was really helpful. And it was also a little bit of a surprise, like I said.
Yeah, as I said, obviously it's not required, but it's
Yes.
really something that you may not become as your thing. And even when eyes closed, I just instinctively know when I need to open my eyes. So a lot of times I open but immediately close or something. There's very instinctively I know where is the jump coming up and I need to really visually make sure. So that those actually also coming with the training. But I think during the practice, what is really helpful is how your listening changes by closing your eyes. So that's something. Unless you try, why would just pianists all of a sudden just close their eyes? Especially, I think when we learn piano as adult, I think that's something that you don't even think about. So I'm glad to hear that you get to experiment. Maybe
Anytime you take away one sense, the other senses are heightened, right? That's
For sure. Yes.
for all of us. And I think the moment you close your eyes, your hearing and your sensing of the music is heightened. But I will also say your sense of touch is heightened. I'm not sure if you've thought about it, but it's almost like at the end of our fingertips, there's like an eyeball, if you will, in each of our fingers. And when you don't look, you could almost see the piano keys in your mind and where your hands are in relation to what key you need to play. And so you become really sensitive to actually playing with more accuracy when you do open your eyes later on, because you're able to sense the keys better when you don't look down all the way.
right.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
All right. I will pick Ken.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Well, I think the key message I got this week was was the phrase let the chocolate sit there, because I am guilty of letting the piano take hold of my practice sessions and take me where it feels like going. So my big problem, as I'm learning after seeing all these wonderful videos about technique and special ways of solving problems, is that my problem is me, not the piano, not the music. There was another phrase that I really liked: be strict in your practice, be generous in your performance. And I got to stick to that because I'm generous and everything. That doesn't work as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I think that often we reverse it.
Yeah.
We are so generous about it's okay, we'll fix that mistake and that mistake. But then any little mistake at the performance, like, why did you do that? Very strict about yourself. So I think very much of the reverse order is correct. And in the end, you know, I find that we have to be free in the performance and all the practice routines that we do. Sometimes we forget why we're practicing. We're practicing to express, we practice to communicate, and you know. So let's never forget the ultimate meaning of playing music as well. So thank you for sharing that. Choose someone else, Ken.
Well, who I'm looking for is not appearing in my little window. So, oh, yeah, I'll pass the baton to Jennifer.
Hi, I think I can agree with can the, be very strict with the practice and practice perfectly, and when you perform, then let it kind of free and then fly. So I like the mentality, and I really like the deliberate practice with the small chunks, and I think that's unlocking the key to performance, really. So I'm really interested in like performing, and I wish I did a like, minor, not the major. I still like my major, so biochemistry, but I wish I did a minor in piano performance. I was very enthusiastic about it. It's been my kind of entire life journey that I played the piano when I was little, and then kind of dabble into throughout all my life. So this time it's going really strong, so I'm very happy about that. So I would like to really perform with a little more freedom. In order to do that, I think I need to be really strict about practice. So, in like including like like performance practice like a lot. So in fact, if I do performance practice, and it really turned out to be much better in actual performance. So I need to work on that a lot.
Yeah, I like what you said in our community board, how you make different kind of mistakes sometimes when you're playing in front of other people, and you don't notice these things, little things like, what shoes am I wearing? A lot of us don't wear shoes inside homes, for example, or you wear different shoes when you perform, and these things actually can affect enormously sometimes in your performance when you haven't foreseen that. So that was really interesting to read. It is really true. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I said another thing that I think is very important, my observation, that because when we practice and it goes into the memory, with everything goes with that. So we practice with all this comfort, but when we go into the stage, everything is very uncomfortable. So yeah, it kind of everything go out the door. So it makes a lot of sense. We retrieving the memory bank is fine, but when we retrieve the data, that it does not come out correctly because it's not tied to that setting, right? So that is.
Um, One other comment too about performing. It's true that I agree with June that we should be free when we're performing, but that can usually happen if you practiced well. Because if you're not as prepared as we should be, and you let it go on stage, sometimes that can spell disaster too. And so I can tell you from my experience, there are performances where I know I am not at that 97%, 98% level, and I concentrate like my life is on the line, and I think through everything. And then there are performances where I know it, and I've practiced performed it, and then I can really let go and just be emotive. And of course, those are the best performances because when you let go, your performance, even in classical music, it has an improvisatory nature to it because you react to what's happening. But there are performances where you're still at 82% and not quite at that 98%, and you do have to focus. So I just wanted to clarify, be mindful of letting go completely in front of people. Sometimes that can turn back on you if you're not really ready.
Well, what I meant to actually be free is that your technical abilities always there's underneath of the musical expression, you know. So you are holding on to something, but that shouldn't be never upside down. So we are taking care of a million things at the same time, but always in the sake of phrasing, always on the sake of beautiful tone and musical interpretation, and then the sub million things you're taking care of, it's there. So yeah, that is very true. All right, Jennifer, can you choose someone?
Let me see. Who else has not?
I think
Frank?
Frank, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. 'Cause
Better
it's
setup
okay.
today?
I finally got the mic working.
Good.
So before I say my favorite thing, I just wanted to add, I ran across this week and wanted to say it while I thought of it, is that the physiological, your physiological response to fear is practically identical to your physiological response to excitement. So when you're about to perform and you're scared shitless, just think of that as excitement. I'm so
No,
you can kind of transfer that. I mean, if you work on it.
for sure. We do talk about that very thing in the next two, not tomorrow, but the day after, performance anxiety. And I do talk about that as the physical sense doesn't recognize which is nervous or excitement. But
Right.
we have a job to give a positive clothing on that physical response. So that's why it's important for us to say, instead of saying, I'm nervous, I'm afraid, but say, I'm excited. I am looking forward to it. It feels like though it is almost like acting, but it is not because physical sense doesn't know. So we are just purposely giving a power to the physical sensation by saying out loud the other way around. Thank you.
Anyway, I was not able to get down to one, but I have two items. I mean, I could come up with six easily, but two items that particularly I liked from last week. One is visualize and cover, because not on the Beethoven, but on the Rachmaninoff, it's jump, 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 jump. And also the Perfect Five, which I've been working on. So I would say those are the two methods of all the many great things from last week that kind of sang to me.
Yeah, although you're the one who said I'm going to be all night here. If I have to do perfect five, I'm going to do perfect three, right?
Well, I've learned how to make that work. Maybe not quite perfect, but you know.
Yeah, I loved it to seeing all the different objects or different ways to counting perfect five. That was really fun to see other people, the Amy Stones to your eraser. Yeah, I mean I like the eraser idea because it doesn't hurt the piano.
Yeah, be careful with those stones. If you drop them above, you'll nick your piano.
Be careful, Amy. Not on your brand new piano, maybe.
Polished piano with scratches.
Oh yeah, that might change.
Yeah, no.
But I didn't want eraser. You get little bits of eraser sometimes off of an
use a
eraser.
pencil on the white keys.
Yeah.
I can't use on the black. I can balance my eraser on the black keys, but you can use a pencil on the white keys.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, friend, choose someone.
Okay, Clara.
Hi. See, for me, let's see. I'm actually learning a brand new piece, and so memorizing a brand new piece in the middle of maintaining my current repertoire was really hard, I discovered. But then I actually had some inner conflict. Part of me wants to move forward, and since it's only 2 simple pages, why can't you just go forward and memorize the whole thing right away? Then part of me is like definitely slowing me down, saying, well, I have to do exactly how the lesson is going, so be patient and slow down. So I think I finally experienced a little bit of being successful at memorizing just small chunks. So I'm doing that backwards, memorizing. And so out of 6 sections, I just memorize it at the slow pace for just only first 2. But I do feel that it's very, very slow, patient practicing, utilizing the metronome. I think that is something that helps me to feel a little bit more successful. So I'm encouraged to continue to learn this piece. So it is a lot of work within myself to slow down and do the right thing. Then I think in the long run, I think I'll have a lot more security when I perform.
Yeah, I think I was talking with Don or something, and he was talking like I feel like I'm making less progress because I have so many things that I'm experimenting and small chunks, and and I also mentioned it to Don, said it might also means that you need to increase the practice time. The physical time might need a little bit more because then you have to take care of so many things too. So sometimes experiment of if you have a lot to take care of and you're only dealing with there's 100 things you need to take care of instead of just overall approach, then you need a little more detailed practice, and maybe that actually means that you might need sometimes more time on practice too.
Clara, you're talking about having the patience to actually sit and doing small chunks. Sometimes you want to do it, but there's a voice that says, no, let's go on to the next section. Whenever I teach like section practicing or backwards numbers, I'll teach it to a student, and then I will actually sit with the student for the following 45 minutes in a lesson and actually guiding them through their practicing. I will literally sit there and see someone play a section 20 times at a very slow tempo with metronome. And the reason why I do that is because it's not good enough to know the concept. You have to train your body and your mind to sit through those moments, because the benefit of me sitting through that with the student is that at the end of that 45 minutes, they've memorized 2 numbers, and each backwards number might be like a 4 or 2 8 measures. That means in 45 minutes, they memorized like, let's say 10 measures, and the whole piece is 60 measures. That means in one day, they memorized up to speed, 1/6 of a piece, for example. And I said, look, all I did was sit here, and every time you wanted to go on, I said, no, let's go back and do it again. And when they did it, they were able to get to that goal of playing at performance tempo on day 1. And so I said, okay, now you have no excuse of not perfecting this piece by the time I see you in your next lesson. They're like, yeah, it's true. If you told me that I could learn this in 1 week, I would say, the student said, there's no way. It would take me maybe 4 months. And then they realized if you sit and actually do it, they could learn it in 1 week. And so for me, I'm used to it, but I sit through those excruciating, tedious moments with the students because I want them to realize how quick that is in the end. It's just that in that moment, it feels slow. Right. But after a few days, you realize, oh my goodness, this is like 10 times faster than my normal learning. And so I'm talking about this because I think you're sensing it. You're sensing that feeling of, but I want to go on. There's a voice on my shoulder that says, let's go on. I'm ready. But that is precisely what slows you down sometimes. Not always, but in most cases.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
All right. Choose.
And Diane.
So I have something a little different. I mean, all of those things are so great. All of the videos are amazing. I mean, I'm so thankful that I can go back and look at them again. And I think I told you, June, that I actually, on my daily action tracker, I've circled the ones that I think are most important for me. They're all important, but it's just, if you try to focus on all of them, that isn't going to happen. It will be overwhelming. So anyway, I'm very thankful that I can go back. But for now, I went back and I thought, okay, what was one that really spoke to me, and that was on day 8 with Bernie. Loved Bernie. And it was the slow practice and critical listening, because I think one of the things I do for sure is, I mean, and this is all about, repeating 5 times and backwards numbers. It's about all that. But like we all do, I just want to play. And then I let myself do that, and not always to my best advantage, I think. So, you think about from the day one, the quality of tone production, doing hands separate. Oh, hands separate, it kills me. Because it goes slower. You sing it out loud, you listen to the phrasing, how to end phrases. I mean, just the whole thing was really got glued in there about the quality of the music that you're trying to create as you memorize. So that was mine for the week.
Yeah, also Diane, so Diane's idea of circling the title next to the daily action tracker or some way, or some your notebook, that these are the video that important for you to review later. Because I think we have like over 50 something videos, and we won't remember where's that idea come from, which video was that. So
we made it, and even we don't know, we don't remember. Oh yeah, we did cover that because it's over 50 videos. There's a lot of information in there.
Right. So I think that was an excellent idea. Another idea that I wished I mentioned it in earlier when we started day 1 was that when you start with a new notebook. It doesn't have to be huge, but just some notebook designated for this 3 weeks intensive, and write a note in that designated place. And without me telling Diane, I know you did it. So can you show us that notepad that you ended up? You're
muted.
Muted. Yeah, no, she's doing. She's doing.
I couldn't get that. Something kept popping up. Anyway, so I'm not a techie person. So it's never going to be like Frank, where it's going to be online. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So it looks like this. This was the day for the critical listening. And it was like, okay, how do I choose one for today that was the most important? I went back and reviewed my notes from all the sessions. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, so, and then of course I wrote, as you guys were doing the video, I wrote what I thought was most important, obviously to me. Everybody might have put something a little bit different, but it's just one page it's the small yellow pad. I think.
Yeah, one video per one.
Yeah, yes, only one page per video. So sometimes it's written on the side if I ran out of rooms.
Right. I mean, after this whole intensive, she's gonna write a book about it. Well, but it is valuable book for yourself. It's asset,
Yes.
So I think that's what I meant. So that was really helpful for her, and I can see the value of it. So if you haven't started, it's never too late to start. Make it. I already gave you given to you the folder and everything. So those are the one place, all of the information in one place, so that you can revisit those. All right, so
we should open up the questions.
Do you think people have us questions?
Well, yeah. Last time there weren't any. Is there anything that we can clarify about any of the lessons that we taught? Was there anything that was, confusing, or just you just want more double clarification on?
Jennifer has it.
Yeah, we'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Yes, I have a question. I know the very first video you guys mentioned about the final project, and maybe it's good to kind of know that and what kind of. I'm not really familiar with any YouTube or Dropbox, anything like that. So what's the best way of going by?
Yeah, so the final project is a 3-minute video, right? So the idea is you're teaching also by acting, trying to explain and also playing some of the excerpts of your performance. It's helpful for you to digest any idea that you wanted to amplify. So we expected you would film it on your phone. So 3 minutes, you can spend maybe 30 seconds or a minute to talk about it, or maybe even less, or 2 minutes of excerpts of your video of your performance. And then if how would you share a video of 3 minutes video to someone? If it is easier for you to text us, just text us. It's okay too. We
Yeah.
can give you.
You can send it in any way you'd like.
Anyway, how do you share, let's say, 3-minute video with someone? That's what we meant, because if it's a little bit bigger video, I don't know, 3 minutes it's considered big, and it is sometimes big, so you may not be able to do it through email even. You might need to have to actually store in the cloud somewhere and then share a link. That was all the Dropbox, the Drive, Google Photo, any of the method. But if you simply want to text, which is if you have iPhone through iPhone, you can transfer with a bigger video. We can certainly just do that as well. So that was that. And I think, again, I don't want you to be perfectionist. We are sharing the progress. It's not the final result. So the act of, again, we never really heard each other's playing, even if in one measure, we never heard it. It was all private, and it's all your private, practice strategy. So, but I thought it would be really fun to hear like even one measure of you playing it, So by doing it, it's also fun to share.
And it is optional.
It is optional. I mean, everything is optional. You enrolled to this program, and nobody pushed you like you gotta do this. But I think again, every single of you watched all of the video, do all of the diligently doing everything that we got. So because of you did that, I think you get a lot out of it. So this is again our recommendation by trying it out, because a lot of times we don't share our video with someone, and by trying to, and you will listen to yourself too. So don't make 100 takes. Let's say less than 10 even.
It's just to show how you applied a certain
but
method.
Don't talk while you play. Just show us maybe, I'm applying this method, and that was very effective. Or even it can be like mental side of it. I'm really applying in this practice now, how I'm going to organize my practice better. Doesn't matter. And then, share a glimpse of your performance. That would be nice. Frank?
Yeah, you may want to take this offline, but I'm actually quite confused about this learning a piece in a week thing, because, I've been working on the last 2 sections of my Beethoven, and I started them at what I felt was a comfortable pace where I could go pretty perfect, and working then, doing it perfect 3 or 5 times, and then upping the metronome. And I've been doing that for like 3 days, and I'm not up to speed yet. So I'm like, I mean, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me to take a long time to learn a piece, because I have no, I don't have a performance deadline or something, but I'm just kind of like...
Well, first off,
the piece... To performance rate in a day, I don't see how I could do that.
Well, first off, Frank, you play the most difficult pieces. And the piece that I was referring to is like a shorter 3-page piece that's pretty simple. You're playing maybe one of the hardest Beethoven sonatas. Like, it's hard for us to learn really well. So that's different. But if it's like a 2 to 3 page piece, that's not, virtuosic. You can absolutely learn it in 1 week and memorize it and up to speed. Okay. If I sat next to you for hour to 2 hours every day and make sure you practice it right way, I could almost guarantee that I can get you to perform a pretty simple piece at almost performance standard in about a week or so.
It really gave me some idea. Like, if someone wanted to, let's say, learn a Beethoven sonata first movement and live with Anthony and 24 hours for, let's say, a month, let's say. It's like a lot of sushi chef in Japan. You have to, be sous chef, like doing cleaning, washing dishes, And so you don't have much of privacy, but every practice is heard by Anthony. And imagine that. So you practice, let's say, 3 hours or 4 hours a day. Would you be able to almost performance ready in 1 month? I can see that.
I think I probably could, but we probably wouldn't be friends anymore.
That's right. But that's you get my concept. You know, that's the idea of you practice differently, and the intensity will be different. You have so much intensity in your drive, and then someone else is gonna push in with you.
I should say
I
too.
would actually like that, have somebody pushing me, yeah.
I should say too, Frank, when you learn to learn, when you, when you learn how to learn efficiently, that act becomes faster and faster because your mind gets trained on what and how to do it during that moment. Anytime you learn how to reprogram your mind or your method of learning, it takes some time. And so basically what I do in my lessons a lot of times when I teach a new method is I kind of hold the student to the fire and make sure that they do not deviate from what they're supposed to do, just so that they learn that method. Because it's not, I said earlier, it's not enough to know the concept, it's the act of doing it, right? And so
he's pretty strict. I have to say he's a little more strict than I am. You know,
I'm way more strict.
I know. I just like, oh well, okay, let's go. You know, but then he won't. And
so Frank, if you ever want to meet for a practice session, no, I'm serious. Pick a page and let's do like a 90-minute session where you just practice, and I will literally sit there and I will think for you, and all you have to do is just eat what I give you, and then you apply that same method the next day when you're home.
I think it is
I'll
excellent.
get a life-size poster of you and put it behind.
Just press a button that says no, no, no with my voice.
Okay, Rich, do you have a?
I apologize in advance if this has been covered somewhere, but will the videos be available to us after the 3 weeks has ended?
Yeah, for sure. Forever, I think, as long as we are around. And so
Yeah, it should be up for the foreseeable future. You can just access it the same way you have been accessing them.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as you know, this is our first season, so you're the first one who has access to it. But I'm curious to know, like season 2, season 5, season 50, season 100, that everybody will have a cumulative experience. That was my idea, was the Google Doc that I shared in the Google, community board, that I share the quotes that you guys share, the recommended books that you share. It's gonna be always growing by the season 5
and refined.
Refined, yeah. So yeah, I think that would be all right. So we're gonna get to practice now.
But did you want me to talk about music?
Let's do that afterwards.
Okay, sounds good.
Because they need to practice.
Yeah, let's practice.
They do need to practice. All right, as usual, 45 minutes, and we're gonna go. Since we have actually today 8 people.
Yeah. 10 to 11 minutes each.
Yeah, something like
great.
that. For you and for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna open up room, and then you, as usual, you're gonna practice, and you won't know when we're gonna show up. But then you're gonna have about 10 to 11 minutes each.
Yeah, and have a concept or a section or a practice method that you want to talk about. Have that something like that in your mind. That way we can focus.
Or
on
not, just keep practicing, and we will just
That too.
just observe.
Yeah.
All right, so I just open it up.
Okay, we'll see you soon in
you
your
soon.
individual rooms.
Nothing really I can do because
That okay, so
From that chord to that chord takes efforts.
Yeah.
6 or 7 cents.
You went from like 66 going to 69, and you either play it too loud or you might not get any sound.
Excellent. Yes. How do you feel it? Welcome
That
back.
was fun.
It still feels really short, isn't it?
It's very short. It felt like 15 minutes at the most.
I know, it's so weird.
Isn't it?
Sometimes 45 minutes is like, oh God. But this it was just gone.
Yep.
I know. The power.
Yeah.
I guess we're done.
Ooh, yeah, we are forced.
It forces you out. Forces you out.
I guess Anthony has to.
There he is. He's coming.
It's coming. Oh yeah, Anthony, stay there because you have to.
Stay there.
Yeah. We were just talking about how 45 minutes. Oh, we don't see Ken.
Oh, Ken has to pick up a family member at the airport.
Oh.
So he logged off a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
I met with him. He said bye to everybody.
Oh, okay. All right, got it. Yeah, let's go really quickly go around and how was this experience of a minute? Feels like a minute or 5 minutes. I don't know. Hopefully not 45 minutes. Yeah, start with Don.
I took Jiyun, you helped me take the power of Perfect 5 and break it down even more. So I was working on like a 2-measure phrase, and I was starting from the beginning and just trying to memorize it, but I actually was much better to do the last beat and then go back another beat and then just keep adding it. It was a bunch of moving parts, and it was much simpler for me to memorize that way of starting from the end of that tricky section and working my way back. And I was challenged to have it memorized by the time you came back in the room, and I was able to do it. So that was really cool.
Yay.
Yeah.
Diane?
So I was trying to memorize the little section here in the middle of Wedding Day, and I really just wanted to keep moving on, and I really resisted. And I'm like, no, this part, I don't know this part. I don't know what notes I'm jumping to. So I, use the methods, the cover and visualize and all of those, and it really helped. So it's working. It's working.
It's working. All right. Jennifer?
I was practicing where the stone part at C sharp minor, and my left hand I was doing the finger legato, and right hand I was poking like it was too loud. And Anthony told me that slide down, so it really worked. The softens them, so it was good session.
Excellent. Amy?
I was working on a section that I really hadn't tackled yet, and working at getting the fingering set, and then June helped me take voices apart. So I was just doing a couple voices and then 3 voices out of 4. And so that was super helpful. I'm making progress.
Yeah. All of the things I visited the dog that I come back to and test their memory. For I think most of it I asked them to 2 measures or 4 measures, and everybody actually completed within the 45 minutes of memorizing that 4 measures. So I think that's all again the power of concentration and your the setting a goal. Rich?
Anthony helped me with struggling with some prompts to try and visualize the cover, and he helped me with some different techniques there, including how a blind pianist would cover moving around a keyboard to perform some things other than press.
Yeah, like the sound is a little, I think you set it up such a way for the piano. It's a better sound for piano, but not as good as voice.
Yeah, I could not understand. Can you change around your microphone options?
Yeah, that's interesting.
There we go.
Yeah.
What did you do?
The original sound turned itself off for some reason.
Oh.
So I was just saying that Anthony helped me with, was having a problem with some left-hand jumps, just trying basic visualize and cover. And he helped me with some other techniques, including how a blind pianist might find his way around a keyboard more quickly than I can imagine. But it's kind of feeling your way around the keyboard, covering before you actually play really helped me a lot.
Very good. Frank?
Yeah, I worked on the last section 1, and worked and took it up to 92 in the metronome, and then section 2 and took it up to 92, and then I was putting them together, trying to bring them together to 92. And also, I was working on section 3, just doing rhythm, because that's kind of a tough area for me, and rhythm's really, it's really helped me on that. And I do a little rhythm on section 3 every day, and just to get back to where I was.
Great. Yeah. Clara?
Good thing is I was able to play the 8 measures in memory, but not at the ideal tempo yet, but that's good. Then actually during the course, when I was using the metronome to do the perfect 5, and I noticed that some sections are really good, but just one section is keeping me from being successful. So I actually had to isolate out of 4 measures, like about 3, 4 notes. So I needed to do that in order to be able to do a little bit longer line better. So I felt I made the progress.
Very good. So before I forget, this week we're gonna have improvised session. If you know this concept of practice with me or study with me, you know, some of the YouTubers, they turn on their live and then study, and then everybody, you know, in the world they join it and they do their own study. Was very interactive in a way that we go in and watch. But this Wednesday, 9 to 10, 7 from 8, I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna send you a Zoom link. So if you'd like to join in and practice with me, and I will not watch you, you're not really necessarily listening to me, I'm gonna mute it as well. But we're gonna meet 10 minutes before if you wanna have a full experience, share the goal. And then once I start to practice, I'm not gonna necessarily watch my Zoom, and you won't necessarily. So its idea is, would that still work? For like this time, for 45 minutes was really went by quick because I'm coming into you, or Anthony's coming into your session. But this time, you are actually on your own, but someone else is, you're gonna turn on your camera, mute your sound, all like this setup, but then we're gonna practice together. And Anthony's gonna hold it Friday, 6 p.m. So 3 let's practice together session is gonna happening. And then we're gonna set it, Zoom setting such a way that you can always come in anytime, or you can leave it without us have to enter you into it. So you may just have 30 minutes, join it and practice with us, or not at all. It's up to you. It's completely optional. We're gonna practice anyway. And we thought maybe if you come in and that Wednesday, both sessions, you're gonna end up practicing 2 hours. I don't know if that's a lot for you or it's not a lot, but you know, why not? So plan to join it if you're available and interested in.
Could you repeat those 3 times one more time, please?
Wednesday, 9 to 10, it's all Pacific time, 9 to 10, 7 through to 8, Friday, 6 to 7. And all of the
8 p.m.
6 to 7 p.m. Friday. Sorry, Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m., 7 to 8 p.m., Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
And the Zoom link is going to send only 30 minutes before the session starts. So you're not going to hear the Zoom address beforehand.
Okay.
And just to be clear, I'm going to be score studying because this weekend is my first rehearsal for our orchestra season. So I'm going to be score studying, just so you know.
Someone else can score study. Maybe they just, read the book. Who knows? I know, or do their work.
You'll see me just staring at music quietly, marking left and right constantly, just absorbing information, memorizing as I go.
Again, these are the concepts that all of those like productivity gurus out there do that with their study, or that kind of productivity. And I think why not we experiment with the practicing and see if that makes you the hour go by quicker or same. We never know until we try. So I thought we'll try out. Before we finish it, I want to share. I don't know if we ever mentioned it. This, like 5 of us here is the local, which means the studying with me, and also occasionally with Anthony. But some of you are not. But as this program grows, now is 99.9% of people is going to come from somewhere else online, like some other parts of it. And then we thought about how amazing it would be if we had summer, or not summer, sorry, in-person retreat sometime. And this idea we always had, even before we have this actually, that we if we had some place and we were like, oh, that'd be really nice to have in person. This time really intense, like literally you are with us all the time. 4-day retreat. Anthony will talk more about it, but our favorite city to visit is Santa Barbara. So Anthony, take over from here what we're envisioning.
Yeah, so we're thinking about hosting a 4-day long piano retreat for adult pianists. And we have contacts at this, it's a music school called the Music Academy of the West in Santa Barbara. And it's sort of the equivalent of, you may have heard of Tanglewood in Boston, or Aspen in Colorado. This is the West Coast's top music festival for classical music, and it's held in the summertime. But between September until May, it is completely empty, and it's a world-class facility. And I'm going to show you some photos and videos, but we have contacts, and we are planning on hosting our Kim and Kim Piano Academy piano retreat at the Music Academy of the West. So let me just show you a little bit about what the place looks like. Santa Barbara is about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of LA. And Music Academy of the West is in this neighborhood called Montecito in Santa Barbara, which is a very beautiful area. So here's the video. It's a drone video of the campus. Can you all see? Did it pop up?
It will be. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to press play. So this is just drone shot over the campus. This is one of the main buildings, and you can see how close it is to the ocean. It's about a 5-minute walk to Butterfly Beach in Montecito. So it's flying over the campus. You can see the buildings to the left. Right now, that's the campus that we're seeing. So you can see how beautiful the facilities are. There are, I believe, 3 recital halls there, and I have some photos of the inside of the building. All right, let's share the photos. Can you all see this?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the main halls. This is what one of the master classroom looks like. These are the hallways. Another master classroom. These are not performance halls. These are just for master classes. Some outside. This would be where our recital would be. This is the Lehman Hall. And so that's the Music Academy. And so we are planning to, we're just in planning stages at this moment. And we kind of planned out a schedule. Let me do a quick share of the schedule so you can see it.
So it will be Sunday arrival, and then Monday through Thursday kind of 4-day retreat.
There it is. So this is our, it's not set in stone, but this is sort of what it looks like. You have your own practice time, and you will all have enough practice rooms. And I think they all have Steinways, or most of them have Steinways. And so we plan to have workshops covering different aspects of music making. You will all get private lessons in solo repertoire, as well as coaching on your duets, because we're going to be pairing everybody up for duet performances. And there will be a duet recital on the second to the last day, of solo recital at the very end. And so you would arrive on a Sunday evening, have an orientation with us, dinner, and then 4 days of piano work. And we will give you free time to explore in the middle of the day.
Yeah, do get lunch break. It's a little longer, just so that you can have, or you can practice it. But practice time is set 8 to 9 or 6 to 7 or something like that. At least 2 hours. But you will get at least like you will have to practice it for duet with each other. And we're planning to really videotape your duet and recital and solo recital, so you can have a really nice presentation at the end as well. So we're like, I mean, this facility is dream facility that even better than anything I can imagine.
I've been to multiple music festivals and no one comes close. This is by far the nicest music school I have ever seen.
Yeah, but anyway, so we wanted to share this planning stage of ideas because it would be really cool to gather some of you that we never met in person, and and have a really intense, again in person, sessions and retreat together in the beautiful space like Santa Barbara, and can walk in the beach and at the same time immerse ourselves in the music making. So we're gonna also have a different coach specifically to coach you duet only. Can you mention a little bit about Natasha?
Yeah, well, nothing's set in stone, but we are talking to a professor who is on faculty at the Music Academy of the West, who is a concert pianist, to be one of our coaches. So yeah, it'll probably be the three of us teaching, and then we may have one or two other guests to come in to give us workshops on
right, for sure, yeah.
Related.
And then the first year we'll do it like that, and the second, hopefully it's a yearly theme, or I don't know, every other year thing. We don't know, but we have so many ideas that to want to incorporate. Like my teacher in Korea, we can invite, or my teacher from Indiana University, now retired back in Japan. She said, if you guys call me, I will be there. And they're like, oh really? So I might want to take a lesson with her. Things like that.
We're trying to keep it a very intimate experience for everybody. So I think we were going to try to cap it at 12 students.
12
so
max.
That everybody gets, so that everybody gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, so no matter how big we become, I think we want to make it this to the intimate retreat. So that's what we're thinking. So we wanted to share that because next Zoom session is going to be a lot more about how we're done with this program, your celebration. We're one more week to go, so we wanted to share this information today instead of the next week. So I know this week has been really intense for you, but I'm really proud of all of you to keeping up with it. And the next week, what is coming up, one of the big ones is performance anxiety. We pay extra attention to give you as much as foundation as possible. Although this by itself can really stretch it out to weeks and weeks, or it's not years, but we wanted to give you some kind of ideas to work around. And then, so towards the end of it, the load of watching video will be a little less, just because I want you to spend some time to your final project as well, if you wish to make so. And then also want you to review the materials that we covered thus far. But there is still the first half of the program will be pretty intense in terms of watching video load. Frank, do you have a question?
I didn't see the information about that final project. Where do I find that?
That is in the introduction video. So we have a welcoming video, and then I explain about performance, my practice journal, how to use it, and the third video is how to use my morning journal, and the fourth video in the introduction welcoming chapter is final project.
Okay.
Yeah, so they will be there. You're like, oh no, I never heard of. Maybe you chose not to see it. Okay, well, last time when I took a group photo, Anthony mentioning like, why do you took only one? What if we don't like the photo? We can have an option. So we're gonna make three screenshots. Okay. Look at the camera, not yourself. camera is a little bit above, I have to say. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more. Actually, 2 more. Oops, 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 that wasn't it. That wasn't it. All right, I'm gonna have to do this. Okay, 3, 2, 1. One more time. One more time. All right, sorry.
We all put our hands up now like this.
Oh yeah. Yo, hands. Yeah, there you go. 3, 2, 1. All right, great. Okay, thank you, everybody. Is there anything, Anthony, I'm missing?
No, but if you run into any questions, any trouble, just shoot us an email or post on our community board. We'll be happy to guide you through it.
Yeah,
Good
so
luck. Enjoy the last week of videos.
I know.
It's a little lighter this third week, so yeah, this past week was by far the heaviest week.
Right. So, and the community board has been really, helpful for letting us know and then how you're doing. And so, really think about final week next week Zoom session. We're gonna share at least 3 takeaway from the whole class program. So, think as you watch it and when you review it, think about what are the main 3 takeaways that you can share with everybody the next week. And then also, I'm going to mention it in the email perhaps, is that share one of the funniest moment, maybe you would laugh, those kind of moments. I think will be fun to share as well because, things make it easier when we laugh together. Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you. See you.
Bye, everyone.